All right, what's up, you guys? This is Devin with CenturyFX Studios, back with another video. And today we're going to be teaching you guys how to do high-speed sync. We're here with Jenny, and she's getting ready for her jam-packed weekend, but she stopped and took some time out of her busy day to come and shoot with me, which I feel so happy about. We have the Flashpoint Explorer 600. We also have the Zoom Lithium Ion. This is the budget option, this is the Big Daddy option. Both of them can do high-speed sync. So what you're gonna have to do is understand which one you're gonna need for your specific project or shoot, whatever you're doing. So if you need more power, you use this, of course, this mono light, the 600. And if you need just a modest amount of power, you use the smaller one, which is the speed light here. All right, so the umbrella that we're using, and I'm gonna say this right this time before somebody argues with me in the comments, it is the Glow Easy Lock Parabolic 38-inch Octabox. It actually has 16 sides and not 8 sides, like I said in my last video. So it is, I don't know what 16 is in geometry. I hadn't even thought about it, making the actual word for it. But nevertheless, it's not an Octabox. It's a 16-sided softbox, which is a parabolic joint right here. And this is probably gonna have some kind of modifier on it, I don't know. But nevertheless, these is what we're rocking with the 5D Mark II today, which Jenny has not actually shot on except for in her other shoot. I'm filming with the 80D right now. And so if it's not in focus, blame the 80D. Let's get started.
All right, so look at the background, guys. You can see colors, you can see texture in the sky from cloud to cloud to cloud. It's no longer just white blown out thing that most people get nowadays when they get their DSLRs. You actually able to see the background, and you can bring that ambient exposure down to bring more color to the background. So even if I want to, I could even overpower the sun, especially if I have my Flashpoint 600, and bring the ambient exposure down and bring the flash exposure up. I can flash exposure balance this in a way that I couldn't before. Now, with high-speed sync, you get this beautiful look where you're balancing everything. You have maximum control over the entire image. As a matter of fact, you also have the ability to shoot at lower ISOs. Lower ISOs mean less noise. And then you also able to use your maximum f-stops. So you're looking at f1.8, f2.8, f2, and f1.4 without any restrictions from overexposure.
So, I haven't really exactly explained how to shoot high-speed sync. The first thing you need is a DSLR or SLR. This is the 5D Mark II. It's a premium SLR from back in the early 2000s, 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008. That's when it was in its heyday. This is an SLR. You can use a mirrorless camera, but any camera that's a real camera that's designed for photography that allows you to change your settings, especially your shutter speed. So you're gonna have to open up your shutter speed settings and choose the shutter speed that actually allows you to get high-speed sync. You're going to have a combination. Gotta have some kind of light source or wizard that communicates with each other. High-speed sync is all about a flash and a camera or a monolight and a camera, depending on what kind of light you have. I'm just gonna say generically a flash, because it could be a speed light or any kind of, I would say, a flash studio system that has the capability. Now, some speed lights don't have the capability, and some monolights don't have the capability to shoot high-speed sync. It's all about being able to send information back and forth to the camera. So if this camera doesn't know what power that's on, or that camera doesn't know what power it's on, it's not going to be able to do high-speed sync. Chances are, if it does ETTL, which is just auto mode for your flash, it does high-speed sync. Only other thing you have to understand is that, do you have enough power to hack high-speed sync? Now, we're in a dimly lit environment. It's an overcast day. I don't need a lot of power to send to Jenny to actually make high-speed sync work. See, what high-speed sync is just a flash flashing rapidly, so it doesn't catch the shutter on the inside of the camera. So you have to understand that with it flashing rapidly, it's expending a lot of power to do a whole bunch of flashes in one burst. You see what I'm saying? Well, one burst for your eye. That's what you see. But what's actually happening is a whole bunch of small powered flashes so it can get across to this sensor before the actual curtain closes. So that's pretty much all you need to understand about high-speed sync. It takes a lot of power. It allows you to control your shutter speed in really bright situations, allows you to get this ambient down so clouds are seen and it's not all white. And it also allows you to light your beautiful subjects. That's pretty much all high-speed sync is. Now, if you're in a studio or somewhere else where you need high-speed shutter speeds and you need to freeze motion, then high-speed sync is good for all those practical applications and stuff like that. But for the most part, most people will be using high-speed sync for outdoor activities, outdoor shooting, things of that nature. So I'm going to get into shooting a lot more with this flash point, and you're going to see the difference. If you're in a low light situation, this is overkill. If you're in a really, really bright situation, this flash point, zoom lithium ion, this little speed light here on the back of here, it's not enough. It won't really work. So you're gonna have to weigh your options about what you have, or you might need to go into a shaded area, so this will be your option, because this is the budget option, about $100 to $200. This is the Big Daddy option. You're talking about $300 to $500. So weigh your options and see what you can get, guys. We're gonna keep shooting here. All right, so let's do about 20 more shots in this outfit because we're not gonna move too much around. Okay. We don't wanna hit any puddles or anything like that. And so the claim to fame for this softbox, just a little side note, is it's double diffused. So the lighting that you're seeing here kind of resembles the lighting from the background. So all of it looks like one. It almost looks like a totally natural picture because all the light's being bounced everywhere and being softened and stuff like that. So the textures match and stuff like that. But that's exactly what you're seeing with this big softbox here.
Canon and Nikon users, you're in luck, especially if you're trying to save money, because Canon and Nikon have some cheaper high-speed sync equipment for their older gear that you can use used off of KEH or any other used supplier. Now, if you're using Sony, you don't necessarily have that luxury, and Canon has the best technology when it comes to radio slaving, so that's another perk for the Canon users.
All right, guys, we're back, and even though this big softbox, this easy lock glow softbox looks the same, it actually has a different light in there. It has the zoom lithium ion speed light in there. It's a small speed light, and I'm actually shooting on TTL mode, so the flash is automatically exposing. Only thing that I did that's different is I raised the TTL or automatic value to +1 stop in exposure compensation. So all I did was put it on TTL mode and raise it 1 stop. So I'm basically telling the flash, expose the way you think and just raise it up 1 stop. Why? Because we got this big softbox which all that light has to go through before it actually hits Jenny. So we're gonna lose light as it goes through that softbox. So to compensate for that, we just raise it up 1 stop and exposure compensation for the flash. And I did that all with the wizard right here. My other settings are we're at about 0.05 of a second, f2.2 with the 85mm 1.8. So that was shooting with the speed light. I didn't have any troubles with this being an overcast sky at about, what is it, about 1 o'clock-ish? 12:22, okay. So about 12:22, high noon, but it's an overcast sky. All this stuff has to be planned out if you're using high-speed sync with a low-powered device, because the low-powered device is the speed light, and the sun can really eat away at your power. So you're going to have to plan in advance, because chances are most of us don't have a Flashpoint Explorer 600 that we can use. We're usually using speed lights, and we may or may not even have a wizard to trigger it off camera. So we have to make sure that the sun doesn't overexpose our images to the point where our flash or our fill can't fill the model's shadows in. So we want to balance that out really well and just come in an overcast sky, or if you can, find shade if you're not able to do what we're doing today. Hexadecagon. Okay. Hexadecagon. All right. So I just got news. This is a breaking news update. The Glow Easy Lock softbox, it's a parabolic softbox. It has 16 sides, and that is called a hexadecagon. So, so I guess in context, it would be a hexadecagonal softbox. I don't know, guys. But that's essentially this softbox here. I'm gonna bring it down so you can see it more in the shot.
All right, guys, I almost forgot to mention that this is the high-speed sync symbol. Now, it's going to be hard for me to show you it on my device, and my device might not be your device, but this symbol is universal throughout all devices. Now, it will not be on your camera. I cannot express that enough. High-speed sync will not be shown to you on your camera with this symbol. Your shutter speed is just going to be able to go up to whatever shutter speed you're able to get. Now, if you have a flash or a wizarding system or a controller system for your flash that does not do high speed sync, your camera will not allow you to access those higher shutter sync speeds unless you're in a manual mode or something like that where your camera can't control itself. Then that's where you're going to get that black band because you don't have the ability to go to, high speed sync and things of that nature. But if you're able to go to high speed sync with modern devices, usually it'll do it automatically if you try to do it in your camera's manual mode. Now, I don't shoot in anything usually other than manual mode when I'm using my flash and my wizards and all of other stuff for high speed sync. But if you're shooting in AV, TV, let's say automatic mode or any kind of semi-automatic mode, it's probably going to reject you from going to high-speed sync if you have the feature. You need to read your flash's manual. If it doesn't have TTL, your flash probably doesn't do high-speed sync. Or if your wizard doesn't have any extra contacts on it that sends and receives information with ETTL or auto mode and can tell you what your flash is doing, it probably can't do high-speed sync either. High-speed sync is strictly an information sending system. You have to be able to send information from your camera to your flash and back to your camera, or from your master controller on top of your camera, whatever that may be. For me, I'm using the R2 trigger today, but it could be a Pocket Wizard, it could be a Nikon or Canon branded wizard or controller. But if you do not have that ability to do high-speed sync, your camera will reject it. So make sure you can see this symbol activated on your wizards, your speed lights, and your mono lights, whatever you're flashing with, but your camera will not show you this symbol. Your camera will just allow you to go to your 500th of a second, your 1/1000th of a second, your 1/8000th of a second with your flash attached. It should be able to sense all of that. For whatever reason, if you're getting a black bar, like my Yongnuo 600, it was terrible with this. It was giving me a black bar and it was telling me that I was having high-speed sync. Maybe you have a defective flash. You shouldn't be getting a distinctive black band in your image and you can't tell where it's coming from. That distinctive black band is your shutter curtain. So this is the symbol. Make sure you know how to use it, when to see it, where to see it, and how to activate it so you can get your high-speed sync. On to the video.
And one more. We got a big fan.
Really, dude?